Oh, we got to go back to the Eagles. This heated sideline confrontation. So the Jalen Carter situation, he got a penalty for slapping a Steelers player on the head. And you can see Jalen Carter there, 98, laughing on the screen. Nick Sirianni wants to go talk to him. And the defensive line coach, Hurt, is like, nah, Nick, you're not talking to him. Like he's like a bodyguard protecting the player. Colin, this was bizarre.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is troubling. Eagles fans are like, oh, it's no big deal, nothing. Anyway, here's Nick Sirianni talking about it.
As Jalen was coming off the field, I was kind of getting after him there. And, I think that there was part of me that wanted to go back. And then I went back, and what Clint was saying is like, Coach, I got it. I got it. I've already handled it. And the knowing, and so I had said something to him. Clint had said something to him, and it wasn't, knowing Clint and how he's coached him for the past, half a year that he's been here, I knew he had it. And so then, it kind of went away.
Do the players and other coaches there respect Sirianni?
Well, it's interesting. Would you do that to Belichick or Andy Reid? Would you do that?
Would you do it to Kyle Shanahan?
Would you do it to McVay? I mean, I think honestly, when I see this stuff, you would not do that to a head coach, because the great head coaches you fear. You're not doing that to Sean Payton.
It's like a teacher. You fear the teacher. The sub comes in, it's goof-off time. This ain't no sub. This is Nick Sirianni, the head coach of a pretty damn good Eagles team. And the worst part is Carter's like laughing, like, I don't want to talk to this guy. Look at him. Look at his face. He's like, whatever. I just find that so disrespectful. And weird. I know Eagles fans can poo-poo this as much ado about nothing. That's a head coach.
I know. It's not the way it should. I mean, again, I think coaches sometimes have to back off. Like sometimes, you see some of these college coaches throwing headsets. It's like, chill out.
Yeah.
But I think just people that are willing to do that to a head coach, confront him, stand in his way. What does it tell you?
I'll tell you what it tells you. Okay, who's someone who's been on teams where you have multiple coaches like this, and you got coaches who are scary, who literally put the fear of the entire universe in you. Okay? Listen. I'm going to attack this from a few different angles. First, let me just start off by saying, yeah, Jalen Carter smiling and laughing, that I 1000% do not like. That I 1000% do not like. And I'm going to explain the coach-to-coach interaction in a second. But I just want to get that out of the way. Him laughing and smiling and acting like it's no big deal, I don't like that. But that appears to be who Jalen Carter is. Jalen Carter, he was always a risk. And anyone will tell you that. And if you listen to John Middlecoff, he'll talk about that as well. Someone who's actually a scout and worked with the Eagles. That's why the Eagles were going to get him. And the Eagles have the culture and the veterans to be able to get a player like that who's not, this perfect citizen. Okay, so that's just part of what you get with Carter, which we've seen teams do a million times over. It's what literally Bill Belichick and the Patriots, or even Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, had to do with AB and OBJ with the Rams and with Sean McVay. Like we've seen this story a lot over the years. It's not ideal. It's not what I love, but sometimes that's what you need. And again, we've seen Travis Kelce slam into Andy Reid, and I don't care if they have this father-son relationship. You could clearly be like, does Travis Kelce respect Andy Reid? I mean, because imagine if another tight end did that and slammed into Sirianni or any other coach. You would say the players don't respect him. And yeah, there we go. And what about when they were trying to give the helmet back to Travis the one game, and Andy tried to stop him, and it was this whole thing. So sometimes these things unravel. Do I believe that coaches like Andy Reid, Sean McVay, et cetera, command their team and command deeper levels of respect? I do. That's part of what makes them special. But not everyone has the same level of, not everyone has the same talents or coaching style. Now, the fact that the position coach stood up for his guy and was kind of like, I got this, I'll take care of this, I actually love. I absolutely love. I've been on multiple teams with, again, very, 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 very scary coaches that, again, made it very uncomfortable. It was actually not a good thing. They were great. They were brilliant. They knew everything, but they made it very difficult to play for. And then you have your other position coaches, your assistant coaches, whatever it may be. And they're the ones that are going to be a lot more supportive. They have your back. And you're spending more one-on-one time with them. And there's moments that I've had where, first off, you rely on that relationship so much. You're like, oh, God, when I can get away from the main coach, I'm like so grateful. You're like, oh, thank God. Thank God we're separate now. And again, you build that relationship, that connection. But then there's times that the main coach, the head coach, comes after you. And there's a moment. Does that assistant coach have your back? Yes or no? I am thinking of a very specific head coach and a very specific assistant coach, which I won't use their names. Not like they're watching, but I still won't use their names. And you can see that coach that has your back, when it's time for him to really have your back, he just fades away. And you feel like, oh my God. I think the best comparison for people who didn't really have sports or have this kind of coaching dynamic is like if you have two parents and, your mom or your dad really have your back and they know, oh yeah, your mom is being irrational. She's being too extreme. Or yeah, your dad, he's just being too hard on you, yada, yada, yada. And then when all three of you together, you see that one parent kind of, letting loose. And then the other parent just kind of sits back and you're just like, what the heck, mom? What the heck, dad? Why aren't you sticking up for me in this moment? I mean, I know I've experienced that. And again, it's a complicated relationship, complicated dynamic to juggle, your relationship with your parents and your parents' relationship between the two of them. But with coaching, like I'm happy to see that assistant coach do that, the position coach do that. I'm happy to see him kind of be like, I understand, I got this. Like I know him better than you know him, because that's the guy that I'm coaching. That's the guy who I'm spending more time with. I'm gonna handle it. He's not gonna respond to this energy that you're putting out right now. Let me deal with it, please. Like that's what that interaction pretty much is. So yeah, and the fact that those assistant coaches actually feel empowered to be able to do that is actually awesome. That's a positive. That's a good thing. We always talk about football teams being run like a company. Well, each division, each group, each tier, each little mini team needs to be empowered to be able to work in a way that they know will be best for them. Again, whether you're working for some big suit and tie company or whether you're working construction, whether you're a painter or a garage door installer, you need to feel that you can, if you're running a team or if you're working with another group of guys, you need to feel that you can be able to do what you need to do and not have the boss just kind of rain down on you. So yeah, on the surface, I can understand why it doesn't look good. And in a perfect world, it would not have unfolded the way it did. I get that. And I understand how other coaches, that's not how this would have unfolded. We are totally in agreement there, if that's what you feel. But to kind of take it to the next level of extreme by now saying, do the coaches even respect Sirianni? Do the players respect Sirianni? That's insane. Because those players all love Sirianni. And again, I've criticized Sirianni plenty. Plenty. But the players like him. The players have defended him. They want him. Now look at some of these other coaches where that maybe would have not happened. You got them taking shots. Did anyone take shots at Sirianni last season when things fell apart? They didn't. They really didn't. There may have been some whispers or this, that, a lot of media contrived, whatever, opinions, takes. But it was not a real thing. Now when we've seen other teams unravel, whether it be with the Chicago Bears, the Dallas Cowboys, we hear a lot of coaching. You have people, a lot of people believe that the Giants have quit on Daboll. Again, we can go through all the teams, coaches, the players quitting on Bill Belichick. It just keeps going and going and going. But you didn't see that with Sirianni and the Eagles. So yeah, are the Eagles run a little bit differently than these other teams? Sure, they are. Absolutely. But did the players respect Shanahan? Having, Ayuk kind of throw a fit and not want to change his clothes or whatever? Having players leave and just be like, I'm not playing, and just go in through the tunnel? Is that respecting your coach? I don't think so. That's weird. I don't get it. And considering how stacked their roster has been, where are those rings? I don't see them. I don't see them at all. So, like, let's tap the brakes here, okay? Let's not just go all in on one extreme. We could point that out and say, I wish that didn't happen. I wish it was handled differently. But we don't have to take it to the other extreme and just be like, these players, these coaches, they don't respect Sirianni. And like, looking me in that face, that was actually kind of a perfect pause. I didn't do it on purpose, just how it was. So yeah. Again, those are things that you don't necessarily want to see, but we don't have to make it into this big, massive thing. Didn't we just learn the lesson from everyone acting like A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts are apparently like arch nemesis? That they hate each other, that it's Batman and the Joker? And then literally like 5 days later, they're like singing and dancing and throwing, having touchdown passes thrown to them and praying together and everything's all good. Like, maybe learn your lesson about jumping to these extreme conclusions. Just a thought. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about that heated moment, we'll call it, as they said, or the heated sideline moment with Jalen Carter and Nick Sirianni, and how the coach stepped in and Jalen Carter laughing? I'm just curious, what are your thoughts with all of that? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.